몰랐어. 너의 얼굴 다시 볼 줄 정말 몰랐어.
Annyeonghaseyo YouTube, it is I, MS Genius, and today I am here with the review for The Great Doctor, aka Faith, Episode 5. And starting right off, of course, we have the 5 categories of awesomeness. This episode received a solid 4 for me, and where the categories of awesomeness lies in music, plot, action, acting, and fan service. The music received a 3, the plot received a 4, the action received a 3. But the acting and the fan service received a 5 for me because the acting and fan service was godlike in this episode. As I said before in the last review, the music still is finding its way back to how it was in the first couple of episodes. So I believe that in due time we'll have more, epic soundtracks being represented. The plot, however, is still evolving and is still getting good. It's still being meaningful. So that's why I gave it a 4. The action received a 3 because there wasn't really that much action at all, if like little to none in this episode, as it was all about the plot. But the acting was superb in this episode as well, as I believe it also took a rise in the viewership as well. The fan service, of course, with the amount of acting, the amount of Lee Min-ho, the amount that basically this whole episode had Lee Min-ho all over it. So, of course, that was going to take a rise. Especially at the very, very end of the episode, which I'll get to in the review. And with that said, now on to review. We basically get a small recap of what happened in the last week's episodes, and we get a face-off between Gongmin and Ji Cheo. Gongmin spins around the situation of having Unso being discredited as a person from heaven, and he basically says that Ji Cheo cares so much about him and his passion is flowing about his well-being. The queen then refutes Ji Cheo's claim and says that Unso is truly a person from heaven who saved her life and shows her wound that was healed. Ji Cheo then places the blame on Choi Young and demands that he be brought for questioning, but Unso denies him and explains that Choi Young is her patient and recovering from injuries, so she says that that's not happening. Unso then stands up to Ji Cheon's threats and tells them that Hwan is going to be destroyed soon and the Ming dynasty or Ming nation will take over. She tells him that he will die and she knows his death correctly, but she won't tell him at all because he was rude. And then she proceeds to say, "Hey you, F.K, go to hell," which we all know is "Hey you, fuck you," basically go to hell. And basically this is taken as a curse. Unso almost collapses from overacting, and Jun Bin basically comforts her. They basically go over to Choi Young's who is basically still, his current state is still, like, he's looking pretty dead right now. Choi Young has a dream about the one he loved before, and we can see a competitive nature between the two of them. However, after everything that's happened to her with their leader being killed and the despair and the humiliation she had to face from the previous king, she basically takes her life, which throws Choi Young into despair. Unso cannot understand why nothing is working to bring Choi Young back, even though even though she's tried everything, and she basically doesn't want him to die because she will be the one that feels guilty. We even see Choi Young with his father at, I guess a river type thing, fishing with his father, and basically Choi Young is basically presented not to have the will to live. Ji Cheo goes back to the king and basically reveals that he killed the court officials on his behalf because the court officials were being treacherous and they were plotting treason. Gongmin chooses not to reveal the lie in order to wait for a better opportunity to take down Ji Cheo. The two of them then make a wager or a bet on Unso involving her heart, and basically the winner will get Unso as the prize. Ji Cheo basically wants to kill Unso because he believes that she's just making this whole lie up about her truly being from heaven. So the bet will last for 7 days. And in those 7 days, Ji Cheo will basically take Unso and try to convince her to become his woman in any other case. Choi Young is about to die, and Unso is basically trying her best trying to bring him back, and she is eventually successful as his breathing returns. No Gook then confronts Gongmin on his poor decision to give Ji Choi Young Unso. Gongmin is jealous of the fact that Choi Young is in No Gook's heart, but No Gook is worried about Gongmin and the fact that he cares for everyone, especially Choi Young, and basically he cares about everybody but her, and this makes No Gook feel insecure. So basically she's been trying to do everything to be in Gongmin's heart, but it doesn't work. And after that whole confrontation, Gongmin feels bad about everything, of course. Ji Choi Young's men eventually drag Unso from the king's headquarters back to his chambers. Choi Young then wakes up and finds that Unso was taken and immediately heads out to go find her. Gongmin then finds out that Choi Young has left for Unso and questions his trust in him. Choi Young ends up fighting with Ji Choyo's people as the Wu Daichi army pleads with the king to assist Choi Young, but Gongmin denies them all, saying that they will be accused of high treason if they try to go help Choi Young. Choi Young then eventually comes to Unso's rescue with the help of his trusty partner Daimon. And Ji Choi Young basically corners them in Unso's chambers, or wherever she was being held captive, and asks why Choi Young has come to Unso's help or her aid. And of course, the big bomb that was dropped at the end of this episode was that Choi Young's reply is that Ji Choyo is basically taking his woman, his love, away from him, and this basically sends everybody into shock. And that thus concludes this episode review. Well, guys, I hope you liked this episode review. As once again, please subscribe, please like, please share, and please comment. Let me know how you feel about this, and about my work. And with that said, I hope you guys tune in to episode 6 review of The Great Doctor, aka Faith. And of course, nobody can be God, but everybody has the potential to be God-like. And remember, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you haven't seen any of my previous reviews, check them out in the link above.